Greetings, Juwan Buford here with CATCHJSBUFORD episode 52. And as usual, we'll be sharing some actionable content to help entrepreneurs and listeners to level up. At CATCHJSBUFORD, we support and advocate for entrepreneurship and believe entrepreneurship is empowerment. And while everyone may not be ready to make the leap, we all can benefit from a more entrepreneurial mindset. And we don't need everyone to be an entrepreneur, we just simply need more. The topic that I'm going to be covering today involves a prospecting strategy I learned and refined approximately 20 years ago and have applied periodically throughout my entrepreneurial journey when I've needed to quickly build up my prospecting funnel, break into new markets, or when I've kind of felt stale or dead in the water. And look, whether or not you're a new to prospecting and sales or an experienced professional or entrepreneurial, this strategy has served me well and others who've adopted this approach. So let's assume you're like I was 20 years ago. I attended college, triumphantly returned back to the city, and was fortunate to find work at a bank. And unfortunately, or maybe fortunately, right, I didn't last very long there. I was told that I needed to raise $1 million in less than 3 months in new revenues. And I was at a location whereas it just wasn't likelihood that it was going to happen. The bottom line is the bank and the branch that I was working at in particular, basically had little old ladies walking in through the branch, cashing their Social Security checks and leaving $2 in the account. So the bottom line is I wasn't necessarily set up for success. And due to a little bit of ingenuity, a branch manager who realized her job was on the line just like mine, I was able to raise those revenues in literally less than a 3-month period of time, fresh out of college, no experience whatsoever in sales and entrepreneurship, at least not at that level. And as a reward, I received a $50 Marshall Fields gift card. And I don't need to, I don't need to lead too much into what happened next, right? I quit. I literally took my experience, I took my licensing, I loaned myself my work ethic and talent and said, if I'm able to do this for a corporation, I can certainly do it for myself, right? So I learned early on that a lot of times a job, JOB is an acronym for just over broke, and I wasn't about that life. And I wouldn't advise others really to do what I did, right? The bottom line is I'm a single parent at the time. I don't have any savings in my account. I remember just starting out as an investment advisor. I was escorted to a desk with a yellow pages, no training on how to prospect or how to go about being a successful entrepreneur. And I just remember as a bank employee, I had to be creative to meet the goal. But at the bottom line is when you're working in a situation like that, the prospects are coming in the door. I had to figure out how to create prospects, how to create potential clients without the luxury of individuals coming in through the door. So the first 2 years were extremely trying. To give you a little bit more about my background, I grew up Southwest Detroit, Highland Park. The bottom line is when I returned back from college and looked at my network, family and friends, individuals whom I'd grown up with, they didn't have much in the way of money or means, right? And as an investment advisor, if someone didn't have at least $1 million to invest with me, I couldn't generate enough revenue to put gas in my tank, much less take care of a child or keep a roof over my head. Right, I just didn't have a network or family members of $1 million, $250K, or even $10,000 to invest. So I had no contacts for all intents and purposes. So I struggled. And I remember individuals in that office watching me struggle. I remember at one point I discovered they actually had an ongoing pool, a bet going on where they put money in this pool that reached as high as $30,000 to see how long I would last. They were betting on the fact that I would quit every single week. And fortunately, because of a degree of stubbornness and faith and the fact that I knew I had a strong work ethic, I knew I was willing to do what was required, I was able to last long enough for a new regime to take place. But anyway, before that regime assumed leadership in the organization I was a part of, what did I do to generate business? I cold called, which is why I always tell people, look, cold calling is your punishment for not understanding how to acquire referrals, which is what this training is really all about. And there are 3 stages of cold calling. First of all, you have to pick up the phone and you make dials for the sake of getting names, right? So when you call back, you can ask specifically for the business owner or for the decision maker. It's just a greater likelihood you're going to set an appointment when you can ask someone for their name specifically, right? As opposed to having to deal with the secretary or administrative assistant who's well aware of the fact that you're actually cold calling. It's just an invitation to get hung up on, which happens frequently and often. Of course, once you set the appointment, you're looking at the possibility of closing. And if you're okay, maybe at a 25% clip. So what does that mean in real terms? I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this because this is not what this training is about, right? There's another episode that talks about cold calling and mechanics of it. But that basically meant I was making $100 a day, talking to 30 individuals, right? Because phone numbers are disconnected and individuals just aren't available. And of course, once again, you're dealing with individuals who feel as if they're compensated to keep you from talking to the individual whom you need to talk to that can make the decision to do business with you. So out of 100 dials, 30 contacts, I may have set 10 appointments, right? Basically, I was willing to eat rejection like Skittles. So getting hung up on didn't deter me. The person not being there didn't deter me. Giving the wrong email address or the wrong contact information, that didn't deter me. I was still willing to make the phone calls to get in contact with 30 individuals who could make a decision. I would schedule 3 appointments, and I would only expect 2.5 to 3 individuals to say, yes, you know what, this service makes sense. You've presented a good value proposition, which will result in 1 client. And I always make a clear delineation between what a customer and a client is, right? A customer is someone who does business with you one time and may or may not frequent or patronize you ever again. A client is someone who becomes an ambassador. They're gung-ho about what it is you do. They believe in you. And when you speak with them or next time they see you, not only do they bring themselves, but they bring friends along with them, right? So that was the process. That also included drops, door knocking, attending networking events. To be transparent with you, it was organized noise. It was a mess. But you do what you have to do in the beginning, right? And then once again, what ended up transpiring, thankfully, after 2 years of ramen noodles and milk every single day and wearing the same suit jacket and just switching up the slacks of the shirt, right? A new regime took over that was somewhat indiscriminate about training. I'll put it that way. And I learned the strategy that I'm getting ready to share with you now. And the first step in this training was first and foremost to identify influencers, or for the purpose of this training, individuals whom I refer to as red. So you have reds, you have greens, and you have blues. Once again, another training for another time to break it down in detail. But who are your influencers? Who are your quote unquote reds, right? Individuals who know that they are successful. They've achieved a certain degree. And when they see you coming, they know they've achieved more than you. Your greens tend to be individuals who are kind of lateral to you. They're kind of like in the same space. And then your blues are individuals who know that you've had more success than them. But for the purpose of this training, you need to get in front of reds. You get in front of individuals who've already achieved. They've already had success. They already have a network, right? They are already able to influence and open doors for you. And so understanding who you need to take aim at, you also need to understand their mindset. Individuals typically, and this is not everyone, right? There are bad people out there. There are rude, obnoxious, arrogant individuals out there. But quite frankly, I think the majority of individuals, once they achieve a certain degree of success, got a little head cold going on here. But once they achieve a degree of success, they're inclined to give back. They're inclined to help other individuals because at the end of the day, there were other individuals who were there to help them, right? So you have a couple bad people out there, and it's not the majority of people. They just move around fast, right? We all tend to bump into them. But the bottom line is a red, someone who's achieved, who's had success, they're inclined to give back. They're inclined to help other individuals out, but you have to approach them correctly, and we're going to wrap around to that in 1 second. But also keep in mind the goal, right? The bottom line is we know birds of a feather flock together. You are trying to build into a certain type of network. And I'm going to be even more transparent, right? The bottom line is people who earn 30K tend to hang around other individuals who earn 30K per year. It is what it is. People who earn $50,000 tend to hang around people who earn $50,000 per year. People who earn 100K hang around people who earn 100K, 250K, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So the other thing we need to understand is that people tend to refer laterally or down too, which is why it's important that you take aim at individuals who have influence and who have succeeded, right? You don't want to be in a situation where you deal with individuals who've had mediocre success or same success that you have. They can't refer you to the type of individuals that will open doors and gain you access to a network that you may not be predisposed to or have access to yet yourself, right? So I needed referrals to higher income earners, people who could open doors for me. And so what was the approach? The approach was simply this. Look, I need your help, right? I remember vividly there was an attorney that I had a lot of respect and regard for, who was always friendly when I bumped into him when I would be downtown prospecting. When he would walk into the branch from time to time, we developed a decent rapport. And we developed what I would call a friendly relationship. We didn't know each other, but there was a mutual like, right, between each other. And I called that individual and I said, look, I need your help. I need your feedback. I've committed to a business endeavor. And look, I'm not asking for your business per se, but I really would appreciate if you let me know, after taking a look at what it is that I'm doing, whether or not you believe individuals who've achieved the type of success that you've had, because that's who I'm trying to work with, will take an interest in what I'm doing. Now, let me be transparent with you again, right? Let me digress a little bit here. I'm not calling really to get the person's opinion on whether or not I should build my business. I have already committed. I'm 2 feet in, I'm forging ahead. But I also understand that individuals who are Reds, who achieve a degree of success, don't mind sharing their opinions. And so any feedback, any constructive criticism would be worthwhile, but it also will put the person at ease that, look, this person is genuinely coming to get my opinion. They want feedback. So they're not coming for my wallet. They're not trying to use smoke and mirrors. They're not doing the bait and switch. They're genuinely coming to get my opinion and perspective. And this is very important to understand this, right? So my goal was simply to get in the door and be appreciative for the fact that they're willing to take a look at the endeavor that I'm involved in. So this is very important. I'm spending time on mindset and the spirit of it, because you won't get in through the door if you don't walk in with the right mindset, if you don't walk in with the right spirit and the right expectations. So that's what I would do. I would call them and say, hey, Chris, you and I don't know each other that well, but you've achieved a certain degree of success as an attorney, as a doctor, as a real estate agent, as a professional or contract worker in construction, whatever the case might be. And I want to work with individuals like yourself. I'd like an opportunity simply to share with you briefly what it is that I do. And any feedback you could offer me, any perspective you could offer me would be so appreciated. Do you have 30 minutes where I could take you out to Subway, take you out to lunch, Detroit Athletic, but whatever the case may be, right? And so I would set the appointment. And the majority of time, individuals, because I was transparent and real, and I was basically letting them know in so many words, I'm not coming for your pocket, they would say, sure, Juwan, I'm more than willing to take 30 minutes to hear what you have to say. And so the appointment is set, right? And all I would do is I would share the proposition, and underneath 30 minutes. So I would take 20, 15 minutes to share exactly what it is that I was looking to accomplish, right? As an investment advisor, I was taking aim at individuals who were owners of companies that were closely held, where they had a lot of disposable income in cash, and they were looking for ways to invest their money and later on be able to access those dollars in a manner that had some advantages for them from a tax standpoint, right? And also, of course, return. But look, the proposition is the proposition. The value proposition is what it is depending on whatever industry you're in. This approach will work, right? So whether you're selling used toothpicks, cars, graphic design services, whatever the case may be, just get really clear on how you can benefit other individuals. And that's what I did. And I would sit back, and after I was done with the value proposition, I would ask one simple question. I didn't ask what you think. I didn't ask whether or not they thought I should move forward and whether or not they thought it was a good business model, et cetera, et cetera. I just simply asked, what did you like best? And I would listen. And 9 times out of 10, if you're coming with a legitimate value proposition in terms of the services you're providing, they would respond positively. And my next question would be, look, who else do you know that could benefit? And here's the thing. I would have a legal pad. I would have a steno pad or even a journal. And already written on a page, I would have literally name and number and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 already listed on the paper. So they would see me open up that journal. They would see me open up that legal pad, and they would already see that my expectation was to acquire 10 names and numbers from them. Now, sometimes it resulted in only 3 referrals. Great, phenomenal. That's 3 more than I had before with individuals with disposable incomes who they believe would be inclined to listen to me and would appreciate the value prop. Phenomenal. That's all you're really looking for at the end of the day, right? Sometimes I would have individuals that would refer 10 individuals. And yes, I did have a couple occasions where individuals would literally open up their Rolodex or open up their phone or literally go to their database, and I would receive as much as 100 referrals. Didn't happen frequently and often, but here's the thing. It's not going to happen if you don't ask in the first place. So I was willing to ask, and so I received, right? Oftentimes, the biggest, the gap, if you will, or the distance between being, quote unquote, dead in the water and not having much business taking place and getting to where you want to be is just simply activity, willing to ask. And so that's what I did. And so 3 referrals here, 10 referrals there, 15 there, 5 there. And then occasionally someone would bust open and say, hey, I really love what you're doing. I know 100 individuals who would be open to learning, right? And that's all you're really asking for. So here's the thing. You know, you're basically waiting for the dam to break, right? To get to enough referrals where you can launch your business with important contacts, those individuals who could open a door for me. Now, here's the thing. What's going to end up happening, and this is a little inside nugget, if you will. You know, when you have a list written down or you have names and numbers and you have your 1 through 10 on each line written down, what's going to end up happening more times than not is you're going to get to that 5th or 6th name and number they're going to provide you with, and then they're going to pause. It happens all the time, right? And keep in mind, you got to be specific. Who do you know who works in your profession that would appreciate the information I share with them, right? So be specific. Don't say, well, who do you know? Who can I talk to? No, be specific. People like you in your chosen profession, doctors like you, attorneys like you, people in skilled trades like you, people in real estate like you, whatever industry you're focused on, make sure that you're specific, right? And so you get to that 6th, maybe 7th referral and they press pause. Now, when they press pause, it's not because they can't think of more individuals to refer you. What it is they're thinking about the individuals whom they really respect, the individuals whom they have really high regard for. These are the individuals whom they want to protect. And if you can get them to refer you to the next 3, that's truly when the dam will break, right? When they're willing to refer individuals to you where they're not referring down, they're not referring lateral, but they're referring to individuals who've opened doors for them. And this is why the mindset and the approach is so important. This is why keeping your word is so important, because they're going to make a judgment call. If you said 30 minutes and you go 50 minutes, you're not getting access to those individuals. If you sit down with them and you share the value proposition, you turn around and say, hey, any reason why you wouldn't get involved, enroll, or patronize me? You just broke your word. They're not going to refer those individuals to you. These are the individuals who will make the biggest difference in your business when they hit that pause button, right? And another tactic that you can use to ask which concerns the individuals might have is you can tell them, you can say, look, the same way I approached you is how I intend to approach the individuals whom you refer to me. I kept my word with you. And so I'm never going to ask them directly for their business. I just want an opportunity to share with as many people as possible exactly what it is that I did. So I would literally say, this is how the conversation is going to go. Hey, Sally, this is Jawan. You and I may not know each other, but we have a good friend in common by the name of Craig. I shared some important information with them about how I'm able to help individuals, once again, doctors, attorneys, be specific, right? Achieve A, B, and C goals. Or I was able to share with them how I could help these professionals or business owners do A, B, C, and D and be more profitable, be able to scale, protect their interests, make better financial decisions, whatever the case may be, whatever your value proposition is, right? And I asked them who else did they know that they respected, that they had a high degree of regard for, whom they believe could benefit from this information, and they referred me to you. And so I literally let them know, this is my script. This is my approach. It's going to be the exact same thing. And when they have that belief in you, because you've kept your word with them, and you let them know you're going to follow the exact same script, right? they're going to be more inclined to start referring you those individuals whom they press pause on, who are the individuals whom you really want, right? So understand that going in, right? And look, the bottom line is they aren't going to refer you unless they saw value, right? By the way, so be aware of that. Be aware of that, right? So one more question that I might ask, right? Because I'm keeping my word. I've gotten the referrals. I have my list. I'm excited. I'm thankful. Look, I really appreciate your time. You don't know how much this meant to me. Thank you so very much. I know you didn't have to do this, right? So once again, I'm letting that person know who referred is going to refer me to individuals. Look, I really respect and appreciate your time, right? And for individuals who are about giving back, who are about supporting others, they want to know their time is appreciated. They want to know whatever resources or referrals they pass on to you, that you genuinely appreciate it, that they didn't spill their jewels among the swine, right? So here's one more question I might ask. Is I'm not leaving business on the table. I'm keeping my word. I may turn around and say, look, I have one more question to ask of you. You know, I gathered you believe this information was beneficial. Would you mind if I took a moment and set up a follow-up appointment and share additional information about how I might be of service to you? And once again, they wouldn't have referred people to you unless they believed the information was beneficial. And 9 times out of 10, they'll say, sure, we can set a follow-up. Because they are interested. They did see value in what it is that you did. But more importantly, I kept my word. I didn't go in for the close of that appointment. I was willing to be patient and ask for a follow-up appointment to address them and whatever their needs are or interests one-on-one, right? Look, even the person says, look, tell me more. Tell me how you can benefit me right now. You have to stick to your guns. I know it sounds counterintuitive, but you need to keep your word, right? You need to keep a base level of integrity, so they be inclined to trust you moving forward, right? So what's the script when you're approaching the referrals? Once again, I'm going into mindset here. Look, business owners are competitive and nosy. If they've been referred to someone whom they respect, who they have high regard for, whom they know is having success, they're going to always want to be curious, if you will, about the competitive advantage or what services someone else is taking care of that can benefit them as well. So understand that. Walk into that phone call. Lean into that phone call. Lean into that next appointment with confidence. That knowing that person is sitting down with you because their curiosity has been heightened, right? Because they know that person was a quote-unquote gatekeeper and would not have made that referral unless they really believed in what you were presenting. People do keep their contacts kind of close to the vest, so they got to believe, right? They got to know you're not going to embarrass them. Okay, so moving on. So this is what it sounds like. Hello. Once again, my name is Jawan Buford. I'm with so-and-so company. Press pause. Look, I was referred to you by Halle Berry. And do you have a moment? Be respectful of their time. Do you have a moment? You don't jump on the phone and immediately throw up on individuals. You are respectful. Do you have a moment? The person may say, no, I don't. But they do know that you referred to them by someone they know, so they may turn around and say, well, look, call me back an hour from now. Call me back tomorrow at this time in the morning or this time in the afternoon. And of course, you make it your responsibility to call them at that time. But know that more than likely, there's a strong chance they're going to hear you out for the next 1 minute because you were referred to them by someone they knew. Look, I had the opportunity to share some information with Halle about how we've been able to help business owners, entrepreneurs, professionals, right? Whatever your value prop is, keep it short, keep it brief. This is where you need a good elevator pitch, right? And I asked them if they knew of anyone else whom they respect. People who are serious professionals, business owners, entrepreneurs, they thought would take an interest or could benefit from what it is that we're doing here or what that I'm doing here. And you're one of the first individuals whom they referred me to, spoke very highly of you. And 9 times out of 10, that person's going to press pause and they're going to say, okay. And I'm going to say, look, now here's the thing. I know smart business owners don't make business decisions based on a phone call. So I'm not calling you up to try to sell you anything over the phone because you and I both know that doesn't work. But I would like to take time to simply share information with you about how we've been able to help entrepreneurs achieve or do A, B, C, and D. And once again, Halle really believed this information could benefit you. Typically, what time of the day works best for you for 30 minutes? Morning or afternoon? Do you prefer a Tuesday, a Wednesday or Thursday, right? Keep in mind, going into this appointment, my number one goal, my primary goal was what? Referrals, recommendations, right? And so I took that same approach. And at the end, I did the Columbo. Anyone who ever watched Columbo before, you always knew he turned around with one last question, right? To seal the deal, to confirm what he had already concluded. That's the approach, right? That's why I call it Columbo. I know it's corny, but it is what it is, right? So I was sitting down with individuals, 5, 10, 20, 30, scheduling 40 appointments a week, right? And I was taking that approach, and I was asking for referrals. I was sharing the value prop. I was keeping my word, and I was turning around and I was sharing what my approach would be with the individuals whom they referred me to. And so once again, I was receiving 5, 10, 30, 100 referrals at a time, right? And don't be lazy in language, and don't miss a step, right? Have that notebook, have that legal pad, have that steno pad, whatever it is for you, and take the time, name, number, write down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on each, through 10 on each line. So at minimum, when they see you open up, they realize the expectation is 10 individuals, and be ready for that pause, right? And that's the approach that I took time and time again. And that's how I was able to launch my business. And once again, my average was about 10 referrals per person. I went in with a positive expectation that I was going to secure the referrals, because that person I was sitting down with either had an interest in helping and giving back, or the person I was sitting down with was referred to somebody else whom they respected. And birds of a feather flock together, same circumstances, same conditions, same interests. So the value prop was going to be just as applicable to them as well, else I would not have been referred to them in the first place. And I was sharing my process, and so I was securing hundreds of referrals. Once again, right? Snowflakes turn into snowballs. You eat an elephant one bite at a time. 3 to 10 referrals. I was patient. I was willing. I was okay with 3 referrals, 2 referrals, because I knew from time to time I was going to get more than that, right? And the appointment stuck, because once again, I wasn't inviting people to buy. I was saying, look, I want to share information. It was an opportunity to learn. And I believed in my value proposition enough. That's why this is so important, right? You have to have the mindset. You have to be offering a service or a product that you believe in your heart of hearts really is gonna benefit someone, right? And so I scheduled, let's say, hypothetically 25, right? You schedule 25 appointments, let's be real, 10 of them are gonna cancel or reschedule. So out of 25 appointments, I was seeing about 15 individuals. Let's say I was averaging 10 referrals per individual, right? You multiply that over 12 weeks, over a, 3-month period of time. That was 1,800 referrals. It's just the math, right? There's no smoke and mirrors here. There's no pie in the sky. I'm not giving you Kool-Aid. It's just the numbers. And I'm willing to go through the grind to get to these numbers, right? So 15 appointments, 10 referrals times 12 weeks. So yeah, 3 months. That was the math. Yeah, 3 months. That's 1,800 referrals. But keep in mind, sometimes I was getting 20. Sometimes I was getting 50. Sometimes I was getting 100. I remember I sat down with an accountant, a CPA, and I shared the value prop and how services that I was sharing could benefit highly compensated individuals with closely held companies with a lot of disposable income. And the CPA looked at me and said, you know, I've been looking for something like this. I'm glad you sat down with me. I've been looking for someone to partner with. You're a professional. You approached me. You maintain integrity. You came with the right spirit. You were on time, meaning you were early. You kept it underneath 30 minutes, right? That's part of the promise. And I remember he literally opened up his database and he produced over 300 individuals. I was shocked. I was in awe, and I was very grateful. So it was and is the one approach, you know, what I call the Columbo approach, that I attribute 75% of my success to. Starting out, when I didn't have any referrals, I didn't have the network, I didn't have the background, I didn't have the family name, I didn't have the reputation, I didn't have any of these things. What I had was a work ethic. I'm willing to be earnest, honest, and upfront, and to be persistent and consistent, right? And this is how, to this day, I've been able to break into new markets. You know, let's say, for instance, I do want to break into the construction industry. I'll identify individuals who've had a lot of success in the industry that I know directly or indirectly, even if it's just in passing. And I'll say, look, you and I crossed paths at this networking event, at this, I don't know, at a restaurant. We exchanged business cards and passing at a coffee shop. And look, I need your help, right? I need your help time and time again. When I've needed to upgrade my client list, when I've had to pivot and maybe offer different services or work differently. This is the approach that I've taken. When I've needed to jump start my business when things have just gone stale. This is how you earn people's trust, and this is a very effective approach to building your network and building your business. Doesn't matter what it is you're doing. Look, if you are a person that owns a hair salon, or if you're a stylist, you can approach individuals and say, look, this is what I do. This is my art. This is my portfolio. I want to work with more individuals like you. Can you give me your feedback, right? If you're selling used toothpicks, it's the same approach that you can take. It doesn't matter, right? Look, at the end of the day, if you like this content, there's more. I would love to go into more detail, but I know people's attention spans can only take so much. And if you can't tell, my voice is cracking from the cold that I'm recovering for. Forgive me once again. But if you really like the content, once again, there's more. You can visit me at CATCHJSBUFORD.com. That's CATCHJSBUFORD.com for more content. Sign up on the email list to receive additional and more comprehensive content to help you conduct research, acquire more clients, become more loan ready, manage your growth, and just make better financial and legal decisions in general. This is what I've been doing for approximately 20 years now. This is skilled trade. This isn't a hustle. This isn't a game. And always glad to be of service to individuals and dispense useful information to help other people level up. You know, at the end of the day, I believe entrepreneurship, once again, is empowerment. And so always glad to be of service. And of course, once again, please share your feedback and suggestions regarding this content or subject matter. Once again, I eat criticism like Skittles. It's all good. All information is shared allows me to be of greater service and benefit. So please respond with questions if you want additional details and information, if you have suggestions on how the content can be improved and provided with more clarity. It helps me once again to improve the site, to be of greater benefit, and to help others like yourself level up. Visit thejsbuford.com, THEBUFORDCO.com also to learn more. Take advantage of a free initial consultation. Look, ideals are great, but execution is better. And so now you've gotten a really good tip or information about a good tactic that's worked time and time again. If you have additional information about how you go out and execute, you need assistance in terms of creating a more viable elevator pitch, so to speak, or a better way to articulate your value prop, be glad to be of assistance to you. So let's go and grow beyond ideation to building thriving businesses that employ individuals and add to the vibrancy of our communities and of course, to the financial independence of our household and our families. And look, even if you're already established, let's scale, right? Let's go from being a solo prop. Let's go from being a micro business owner to creating a situation where we're creating so much abundance and so much prosperity that we can't help ourselves. We have to scale and grow and hire more individuals and create, once again, thriving enterprises. With that being said, this is Juwan Buford signing off, that is. Thank you for visiting here at CATCHJSBUFORD. Have a fantastic evening. Goodbye for now.